Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Bluegrass State, Kentucky Speedway for a live edition of NASCAR.com GarageCam, only on NASCAR.com, streaming live. I'm your host, Matthew Dillner, and we're in Sparta, Kentucky. I'm over here for a reason. We're not in the garage. I just, like 15 seconds ago, saw this and thought this was really cool. All the thank yous to Tony Stewart here at all the different tracks. This is the Thanks Smoke Restart Zone. So basically, we just hope he doesn't get a restart violation in the Thanks Smoke Restart Zone. That, my friends, would be irony. Hello, everybody. Great to be back here in the NASCAR garage as we bring you streaming live inside of it. Josh Wise is number 30 right here. They're putting decals on it. Josh was just out here just a few minutes before the show helping the crew put some decals on the car. Pat Trice and everybody here with the 55 of Reed Sorensen. As we bring you inside this, well, oddly shaped garage. It's one strip. There's not a bunch of different garages. As we darken it up here so you can see, it's kind of like a different shape. You got a straightaway here, then a little curve there, then a little curve there, and then it brings you to here. But all these cars lined up here inside of this garage area, including Jeffrey Earnhardt's number 32, Michael Annette chilling out, Hudson Hall, PR extraordinaire, and of course the legendary Phil Cavalli, photographer. Chuck Bush has a microphone.
I was going to say, Michael Annette was one of the cars here for the test.
Yes, he was.
Earlier. I believe that was earlier in June.
Right after Michigan.
Yes. He was one of, there were a couple of teams here testing out this new surface.
And of course, because there's a brand new surface, and it's not just a new repave, Chuck. You were up here for the test with Matthew Stricker doing a little piece on NASCAR.com.
Couple pieces.
But a couple of pieces. But, you know, it's more than just a repave. There is some banking change in turns 1 and 2 going from 13 degrees to 17 degrees, a significant change that makes this racetrack a completely different racetrack.
Well, and that it sets up a different, they didn't do anything to turns 3 and 4.
Yeah.
1 and 2, they did a little bit over there, did some adjusting of the banking, but 3 and 4, that's going to make that entry into 3 different than what these guys are used to.
Yeah, which means they'll be carrying more speed going into turn 3. They may not adjust their groove that much, but Chuck is absolutely right. They're going to be carrying a lot more speed when they get there. Not only the new pavement, which always provides more speed, but the simple fact of, you know, that banking is going to allow them to go faster in turns 1 and 2. So they will be carrying more speed by the time they hit the end of that long back straightaway here.
Oh, look at that.
Yes. It's Regan Smith, driver of the Advanced Auto Parts machine. Regan Smith getting fitted inside this number 7 car in a totally different Kentucky.
Yeah, it looks drastically different just watching the cars on the track so far today. So I wasn't here for the test, and you know, get out as quick as we can, get as many laps as we can, and try to learn the place.
All right, man. We always have fun on GarageCam. I was just thinking about this before the show, and Churchill Downs and the Kentucky Derbies made Kentucky very famous in the sports, Matt. This is our 6th year here. If this was your racehorse, what would you name it?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm not good at that stuff. You're putting me on the spot here.
I love putting you on the spot.
You got to give me a heads up. This is a new car for us, so I don't know. We got to run it first and see how it is.
Shiny new. There you go.
There you go.
Regan Smith, the number 7 Advanced Auto Parts machine. Trey Tomeno hopping in the right side. There's Max Pappas looking at the steering wheel, obviously, on that Regan Smith ride. Getting some driver comfort adjustments inside the cockpit of that number 7 Tommy Baldwin Racing entry. Brian Scott, B. Scott, the number 44. You know, love throwing random questions out of people. Right, Chuck? Okay, Chuck, if you had a racehorse here at Kentucky, what would it be?
Majestic Lightning.
That should be the name of your band. You just got it. You've been trying to get a name of a band for a long time.
We're leaning towards Froggy Bradlow right now.
Froggy Bradlow
or
sounds like something
clean.
That would play a frat house.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Or like a mountain cabin.
How about Mountain Cat?
Well,
Mountain Cabin sounds a little. It's, you know, no,
yeah,
no. Well, let's not go there. David Reagan, the number 23 Dr. Pepper ride. So David, he was here getting fitted inside the car just about 5-10 minutes before the show. A little breeze rolling through here, which feels really nice because hot Tucky, as I like to call it. It can get a little hot and humid here during the day, but we got 3 night races lined up this weekend. You got the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series tonight, of course, on FS1. And then the NBC folks take over. We got the Xfinity Series race, and of course, we have all highlighted by the NASCAR Xfinity Series, 400 miles on Saturday night.
That's
under the lights.
Sprint Cup Series on Saturday night.
Yeah, did I say that?
You said Xfinity.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, three divisions.
It's a tongue
yeah,
twister.
it's my first time back.
I know. You're a little rusty.
Couple
weeks off.
Couple weeks off. My son is watching. He's 10 months old yesterday.
Does he know that he's watching?
He doesn't know if Daddy makes a mistake, so he thinks that he thinks like I'm Ken Squire, which obviously I'm not. Matt Weaver with the high five.
So
live
what
on
would your
GarageCam.
racehorse name be?
What would my racehorse name be? Oh, good question. Man, I can't take the Regan Smith approach and kind of
say that you weren't prepared because
okay,
you asked the question.
You're going to pick on me. I'd say Lost Speedway. I'd say Lost Speedway. I like that. That's my racehorse name. Doesn't sound fast, though. Well, this guy's pretty fast, and he was pretty fast last week at Daytona International Speedway, and checking his phone, probably posting some stuff on the Instagram. Casey Mears, you ready for a totally different Kentucky?
I think so. Yeah, I think, I guess the Cup guys have the advantage that maybe we've got, watch the truck guys and Xfinity guys go out there and run. So
And a little rubber.
And a little bit of rubber, and they did a good job of trying to get some rubber down with that tire machine, but nothing really compares to us actually running out there. So you can see when guys got out of the groove, it was pretty hairy. So I'm sure that'll work in over the weekend throughout the races, but it looks fast. It's obviously a lot smoother, and our job this session is to really scuff in a lot of tires, just making sure that we're prepared for the race.
Now it's all business here, okay, but we're gonna have some fun. You got the Gecko on your car. Maybe this could be your answer, but Kentucky Derby, Churchill Downs, not far from here. If this puppy right here, this Gecko, number 13, was a racehorse, what would its name be?
Screaming Lizard, something
Screaming
like that.
Lizard. I like it.
The Screaming Lizard.
The Screaming Lizard. Perfect, right there. Let's see. Let's show you that Screaming Lizard. Thanks a lot, Casey Mears, for joining us on NASCAR.com GarageCam. And he doesn't look like he's screaming. He might be screaming when they get out there at the high speeds here at the Sparta, Kentucky speed plant here. Number 10 of Danica Patrick. The Nature's Bakery. Of course, I love Nature's Bakery. I got to say that every time Nature's Bakery is on the car. Best career finish here at Kentucky 21st. So obviously looking to improve that. Can't improve those Nature's Bakery bars very much, but the performance here, maybe, always room for improvement. Eric Amarola, the number 43. I watched a really cool documentary last week after Daytona. It was really nice after the race about how hard these guys on this Smithfield number 43 team work, and of course the heritage involved with the Richard Petty organization. The King celebrating a birthday last week in Daytona. Man, I probably did, I don't know. I probably got away with at least 4 or 5 book reports on Richard Petty as a kid. Different teachers, they didn't know. Clint Boyer, AccuDoc Solutions, number 15. Clint has had some good runs here historically, looking at the stat sheet before this weekend, but obviously that team trying to find their little mojo right here. Paul Menard, one of the drivers outside of the chase, looking in, who's in the next few races has had a win at one of those tracks at Indianapolis, so not that far off for Paul Menard in this Menards bunch.
And Paul Menard, another one of the drivers here at the test, and you heard Casey Mears talk about it. They have been prepping this test. They left tires here. Goodyear left tires to drag and put rubber down on the surface, hoping to open up a little bit more of a groove.
Exactly, and that's a big thing, getting the rubber down on this track here. And the age of the track, too, is always a big factor. Greg Biffle here, the number 16 car, talking to Greg Zipadelli here in the garage area. The KFC fire suit and the KFC car for Roush Racing. And quite a performance last week for the entire Roush organization. 3 cars in the top 10 at Daytona for the Pepsi 400 there at Daytona. smoke. Tony Stewart here, the number 14. Attempting his 600th career start this weekend, and a little disappointment last week, of course, at Daytona, but coming off that big win at Sonoma that pretty much secures them in the chase as long as they maintain that 30th points starting spot, which they're about 3 points over Brian Scott right now. So looking pretty good for Rushville, Indiana, number 14, Mobile One on the side. Of course, thank Mobile One's proud sponsor of NASCAR.com GarageCam, but Tony Stewart still has yet to get a win. We've been here only 6 times, though, so Tony Stewart looking for his first Kentucky win. Big weekend, though, for Stewart. A little pressure off the back a few weeks ago, but now that 600 start, a great milestone for a guy that has had so much longevity in this sport here of NASCAR Sprint Cup Series stock car auto racing. Thank you, Mobile One. All you fans need to thank Mobile One, too, because that's the reason you get to see the show. Well, KFC right now on the number 16 here, and you know what's really cool? There's actually a strip of grandstands. That's a KFC strip of grandstands. Coming off of turn number 4, it actually has the Colonel's face painted within it, and then there's a perma-Colonel. A perma-Colonel. Well, I believe a perma-Colonel is like a mannequin of the Colonel. Yeah, so that's a little. So you could go buy a seat in the KFC section maybe and sit with the Colonel. It's a pretty interesting thing. Tigra, I missed you, Matt D. First person in the chat room, Louis D. Donato. Welcome, Louis. You're always good to see you in the chat. David Homa. Hi, Matt. You want to see Brad Keselowski? Of course we will show you Brad Keselowski. And great to see some of you guys back in the chat. Jim Lees, welcome back. Thank you very much. 2 weeks away from the NASCAR schedule is 2 weeks too long, in my opinion. Ricky Stenhouse with a 11th place finish here, I believe, last year. His best finish here at the Kentucky Speedway. Looking to best that. Top 10 performance last week for Ricky Stenhouse in this bunch, and talking to some of the guys on this crew. You know, they really thought that was a place where they circled it on their calendar where they could get a win, but this team, this organization is so much closer than they've been in the past year or two, and Daytona was proof of that, a great performance that they can hang their hat on, as some of these Roush cars are just on the edge of that bubble trying to get into the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Kyle Larson, number 42. Only 2 starts here for Kyle Larson in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Hoping to better those performances. I believe it was 41st and 40th and 35th as far as best starts here for Kyle Larson. So definitely looking to shape up as far as those statistics. But, you know, the thing is, we're all on an even playing field this weekend. Not that we've raced here that many times, but all these teams, new pavement, few teams tested, a bunch of organizations, of course, sharing notes about that test. But the track, even from that test, is going to be so much different. Temperatures affect everything. Also, the amount of rubber on the track. Will the groove widen out is one of the big questions. A.J. Allmendinger here, best finish 9th in 2012. So another team on the edge of making it in the chase. Could this be the oval that gets him into the chase and gets the W? You know, we all expect him to be a favorite when we're at the road courses.
Kenny Bruce was here with us for the test. He wrote an excellent article on NASCAR.com, and there is a great video that pairs with that article talking about the repave and all of that. It's a tech talk and an article, so you can get caught up to speed with all of the information about this new reconfiguration, new repave, new Fun-Tucky.
Fun-Tucky, baby. Always have fun in Fun-Tucky. It's been a while since I've been to Fun-Tucky. I was here for one of the first races when it was the Camping World Truck Series race, and with the IRL boys. Here's the number 5, the Great Clips machine of Casey Kane, standing here in the garage talking to some of his guys. We'll see if we can grab a question with Casey. And all right, man, totally new Kentucky. Looking forward to hopefully getting some rubber on that track.
Yeah, I think they already have some on it. Gonna need more. And we have a lot of cars, you know, here between the divisions over the next few days to really get a lot of rubber down and hopefully have a good race. 1 and 2 is much different than what it was 3 and 4 is really similar, just smooth. So it should be, depending on grip levels, you know, depending on tire that we have and how that grabs the racetrack, it could be a really good racer.
Hey, we're having fun with some of the guys up and down the garage here talking about Churchill Downs and the Kentucky Derby. And those horses, those jockeys have horses that are named. We don't really have cars with names. What would you name that number 5 Great Clips ride if you had to name it?
I've heard of people naming their cars. Not a whole lot, but I've heard of a few people naming their cars over the years. I've never named one car.
No.
And I don't plan on naming one.
Keeping the streak alive. There you go. The number 5 Great Clips machine, Casey Kane, and even Claw Washington driver. Leah Bartlett, of course, requesting to see the number 5 of Casey Kane. And there is the Tennessee driver right next door, the number 6 of Trevor Bayne, TB. I bet you we could have some fun with TB. Maybe this would be a NASCAR jockey that could give us a good answer about that question here. Wearing Don in the red cap here for Advocare behind the number 6 Ford in this garage area. And here is T-Bay. See if we could grab a quick word with Trevor. All right, buddy. Totally new Kentucky here, repave, but more importantly, a reconfiguration there, you know, in turn 1 and 2. So you guys are going to be carrying a little bit more speed in 1 and 2, which means even bigger speeds on the backstretch.
Yeah, that's the biggest concern. I think you already get loose into 3 with the old configuration, with the old speed. So now you add, it almost looks like a longer backstretch with the way the corners kind of moved out. You get straight sooner, so you're carrying a lot more speed into 3. Watching the Xfinity guys on TV and going up there on the backstretch and watching, they're out of the throttle a pretty good amount for a repave into 3, but it's just so flat. You got to let the car float, and you can't risk it. I mean, if you get out of the groove, you're along for the ride, basically. There's nothing you can do except hang on at that point. But watching 1 and 2, you know, it's definitely different with the apron being wider and moved out, but I don't really know what to expect till I get out there.
Hey, we were having some fun in the garage area here talking about Kentucky Derby, and, you know, the jockeys there, they're all riding horses with names on them. Do you have a name for this number 6?
We have not named any cars. We
No?
try not to get too
What would you name this
sentimental.
thing right now? Come on.
I'm definitely not naming this one after watching everybody slide around. I told Matt if we make it to the race on Sunday with our primary car, we'd probably be doing it a lot better than most people are this weekend. So we're going to try to keep this one in one piece, but just for sentimental reasons and the risk of being in a new track, we're not going to name it.
We could call it Hang On. Yeah. There you go. Trevor Bay, the number 6 right here. Not many names so far. The Flying Lizard, I think, was my favorite so far. Jamie McMurray. The Beechcraft, number 1 for McMurray. That's Chevrolet. Chevrolet, of course, right here, trying for their first win here at Kentucky. We've seen Dodges in victory lanes. We've seen Toyotas and Fords, but Jamie McMurray trying to be the first Chevrolet winner. But, hey, we're going to ask you something real quick and have some fun with you instead of these boring questions you get all the time. We were talking about the Kentucky Derby, and, you know, jockeys in the Kentucky Derby, you know, they're on horses with names.
Yep.
You know, if you had to name this Beechcraft number 1 right now, what would you name it?
I don't know. We used to name cars. I feel like back in the old days we named
And you
cars.
don't anymore.
I have never. No, they're just numbers now. And this is. I don't even know what number this is. I don't even. It's weird. Like, to me, we used to always have a favorite car, and I think some guys maybe do now. But before carbon seats, it seemed to be it was one that the seat fit you the best in, and just the way the dash was in it. But now they can duplicate things so well that they all feel the same when you get in them.
All right, buddy, get in that thing.
Thanks.
That number 1 right there, ready to hit the track for the first time this weekend. Oh, yeah, right alongside Ryan Blaney. Well, he's a rookie, folks, but remember, he has a lot of experience here at Kentucky. 5 NASCAR Xfinity Series starts and a handful of NASCAR Camping World Truck Series starts as well. Hey, this kid has won here before. 2 wins in the NASCAR Xfinity Series for Ryan Blaney, and a total of 1,578 laps completed here, a bunch of laps led too. So don't let that rookie stripe fool you in the Motorcraft number 21 Ford right here of Ryan Blaney. Some clouds developing here, but it looks like we're going to have some great weather here as Marty Snyder walks on by. NBC, great to see NBC and the boys back, and Goat right there, one of the veteran camera guys. Ryan Newman, the number 31. Doing a little media this week, and heard Ryan with a quote saying that he really doesn't want to look for another ride in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, because there's a lot of speculation that possibly Ty Dillon could be moving up into maybe this ride. So we'll see what happens. But Ryan Newman, of course, only 2 years removed from being just maybe laps away from a NASCAR Sprint Cup Series championship. And here is Newman walking into his garage stall in the Caterpillar Chevrolet. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Nationwide Children's Hospital on the nose of this car right here. I see that right there, and I think of Ashley Hunt. Ashley Hunt's actually a beautiful 19-year-old girl who is from Ohio, the Delaware area of Ohio, and a friend of a friend of a friend. And she actually goes to this, so pretty cool connection right here. And I believe Joey Logano's people are having her as a guest here this weekend. So looking forward to hopefully meeting Ashley, a beautiful young lady. And, you know, she's a big NASCAR nut, so gotta love it when, you know, we could bring somebody here and realize her dream, you know, looking at her website just the other day, because she's got a little fun little website page for support. And, you know, she's got a bucket list. And one of the bucket list items is, you know, NASCAR, going to a NASCAR race, and that's pretty awesome. And, of course, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Amy Ryman visiting the Nationwide Children's Hospital alongside Austin Dillon, getting ready to talk to Marty Snyder. And that number 3 right next door. See the spoilers on these cars right here. Of course, a low downforce and new pavement going to provide some real excitement here at Kentucky Speedway. And now Dale Jr. and Austin Dillon having a little chat here. See if we can get out of the way here. NBC about to do their thing. Hop in the garage stall right here of Matt Kenseth. One of only 3 winners here at the Kentucky Speedway, Matt Kenseth. Talking with Hall of Famer Dale Jarrett and Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin among the top 10 drivers here with probably the worst numbers here. An average finish of 18.8 here at Kentucky Speedway. But he does have 2 top 5 finishes, so it's not like he's terrible here. Just, you know, a little bit of bad luck or whatever for Denny Hamlin, but looking to turn that around. Talking with teammate Matt Kenseth and Hall of Famer Dale Jarrett. Mike Wheeler, the South Hole, Long Island native, standing by, crew chief of the number 11. Jimmy Jam, Jimmy Johnson, the Cobalt Lowe's number 48. One of only a handful of tracks that Jimmy Johnson has not won at. Chicago, Watkins Glen, here, Homestead. Looking to turn that around this weekend, and a very good possibility he could do it. You know, this is a weekend here, new pavement, you know, and really on the edge kind of race is what we're all expecting. And Jimmy Johnson has proved time and time again, when there's change in this sport, he's one of the guys that's usually ends up on top, whether it's a rules package or whatnot, or a format for the championship. Jimmy Johnson, you can always count on him. Chase Elliott, the number 24 car, has had 0 cup starts here. Of course, this rookie right here, but another guy just like Ryan Blaney with a lot of experience when it comes to this racetrack here in Kentucky. 4 NASCAR Xfinity Series starts, 800 laps of experience here in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. But unlike Ryan Blaney, no Truck Series experience here. So Blaney with a lot more laps here on this tricky Sparta, Kentucky Tri-Oval. Cody Hart's checking in. Gotta love it. Wanting to see the number 24, the Dawsonville, Georgia driver. Jim Lee's checking in. I believe you wanted to see the Martin Truex machine, the number 78 Denver mattress. A little Jersey Shore fist bump to you. 5 minutes. Did we do halfway? I think we did. I forgot it already. Yeah, I forgot. I forget. It's okay. I was busy. You know, this whole talking thing. Well, here's a guy that's pretty much owned Kentucky Motor Speedway and celebrating 75 years of M&M's on the hood and the Candy Rocket right here. The fast Joe Gibbs Toyota, Joe Gibbs Racing, and Penske neck and neck as far as statistics and wins here at the Kentucky Speedway. But Kyle Busch has pretty much owned this place. Without a doubt, the best driver rating here. I mean, he blows away anybody else. If you pay attention to loop stats and driver ratings, we're talking about a driver rating of over 129, which is absolutely insane. 5 races here, 4 of them in the top 5 with 2 wins, an average of 3.8 for a finish. That's just ridiculous. Carl Edwards, the number 19, 2 top 5 finishes. His best finish came here last year, a 4th place finish in the 2015 running of this race. Carl Edwards talking to a NASCAR official in the window of that Joe Gibbs Racing number 19. There you go, all you Carl Edwards fans. Joey Logano, the number 22, Penske Racing Ford. Another one of the teams that tested here in the test after Michigan. Such a crucial test to find out things from tire combinations to just getting to know this new racing surface and getting to know the new configuration of turn 1 and 2. As we motor around here, Kurt Busch, the number 41, Monster Energy ride. And last week's winner, already with 3 wins on the 2016 season for Brad Keselowski, and one of only 3 drivers to win here at Kentucky. He's got a pole, 2 wins, 2012, 2014. That big win last week, of course, Penske's 100th win. Such a big milestone for that organization that has put so much into NASCAR racing over the years, and a great thing to see. And especially, Brad Keselowski has won at Talladega, but to get over the hump there and get that win at Daytona, obviously something very special for any race car driver. But Brad Keselowski really reveled in that moment. We're about a minute and a half for launching these boys outside the garage. You see this right here? That's the whistle. That's what you're going to hear right there. That whistle is going to tell these guys to hit the ground running here in Kentucky. Busch Light on the side of Kevin Harvick's ride. That paint scheme, pretty snazzy there. Give you a first look here at it. Of course, if you go on NASCAR.com every week, you can check out the paint scheme previews, and make sure you check out the preview show and some of the other great program that we have on NASCAR.com. Brad K, look at how slammed down to the ground these race cars are. Some of them a little bit more than others, and we'll see who's got the softer setup and whatnot. Waiting for that whistle. The Kentucky Thunder will happen shortly thereafter. Chuck Busch.
I was hoping we were going to get an action shot here to close out GarageCam with that whistle going and Harvick rolling out, and then you walked away from it. I thought you were setting
right
up
here.
a great
The whistle's
shot.
right here.
Yeah.
I'm only walking away from it to see Chuck Busch. I wanted to see what you were going to add to the program right here.
Not a lot.
Come on.
Just my face.
Closing thoughts here.
Closing thoughts. I'm really excited to see these cars hit the track in large numbers. These Cup cars, seeing them here for testing was really intriguing. But seeing what they do during the race on Saturday night is going to be awesome.
Yeah, single car runs are one thing, but we'll see with all this practice, with all 3 series and running similar tires, what it can do to this racing surface, and hopefully moving that groove up a little bit, which will enable these cars to pass, because right now it's very treacherous out there as far as grip level and as far as if you get out of that groove, saying, oh boy, you're in trouble. So we'll see if that groove gets expanded.
And let's see how those restarts are with a narrower 1 and 2.
Yes, that'll be a big, big thing, because right now everybody swallows up positions. That's where everybody races the hardest in NASCAR Sprint Cup Series right now. Here we go. The whistle blows, and here we go, and they're off. Of Kevin Harvick, the first one out of the stall. Last week's winner, Brad Keselowski, rolling out here in Kentucky. The 41. The 22 of Joey Logano, Carl Edwards. How about you some Kentucky Thunder? Chase Elliott, patriotic scheme. Jimmy Johnson going for win number 1 at Kentucky. Can Denny Hamlin get a win here and break his little slump here at Kentucky? Austin Dillon, he's run well here. Can he get the W? Right now, with points, he's in this chase if it ended today. A slew of NASCAR Sprint Cup Series stock cars hit the track. We've run here 6 times at the Kentucky Speedway. 7 times in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series have we run in Kentucky. In 1954, Lee Petty bested a 21-car field at Corbin Speedway in Kentucky. But hey, now we're here at this beautiful speed plant here. Unbelievable facility. Make sure you tune in. Keep it logged on to NASCAR.com all weekend long. Casey Mears messing with us here in the garage area. He got me. Tune into the Quaker State 400 Saturday, July 9th, 7:30 p.m. on PRN, NBC Sports Network. Tune in to that. And of course, you can listen on Sirius XM satellite radio. Keep it logged on to NASCAR.com. I'm your host, Matthew Dillner. And until next time, we'll see you at the races.